everyone, and welcome to our cool down. I hope you just had a great run. I hope it went well, and I hope you're ready to get cooled down. So make sure that your heart rate is starting to drop. If you just finished, make sure you walk it out a little bit. Try to let that heart rate slow down a little bit before you go into this cool down. For this cool down today, all you need is a mat. I'm going to be using a chair for a modification, so you might want to grab one just in case. And then we will be using a wall. It's totally optional, but if you can, go ahead and get close to a wall. So we're going to start out today with a quad stretch. So what I want you to do is find your balance. You can use a wall if you need to. And you're going to grab onto your ankle. And all we're going to do is pull our ankle towards our glute. And I want you to tuck the tailbone here. So you saw that little switch. If I'm arching my back here, I want you to round it forward. And you should immediately feel a nice stretch in the front of that quad. Now for modifications, if you aren't flexible enough to get that ankle towards your glute, you can use a chair here. Just set your shin on that chair, and then same thing, tuck the tailbone, activate that glute in the back, and you should feel a nice stretch in that quad. So if you're having a little bit of trouble with balance, go ahead and find that wall. Same thing. Toes facing forward. Core is engaged throughout our stretches today. Keep the breath flowing, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Very good. Quads can get very tight throughout our runs. So really important that we're stretching the front of the leg. Holding here for a few more seconds. See if you can drive the hips forward just a little bit more, get deeper in that stretch. Good. One more deep inhale here. And as you exhale, release it. We'll go ahead and switch legs. So same thing, whether you want to do it away from the wall and work on balance, whether you need to use the chair or hold on to that wall. Grab onto that ankle, tuck the tailbone under, and lengthen the front of that leg. I like to find a spot on the floor to focus on. Helps with balance. Try to relax in these stretches today as much as possible. Release the tension. You just finished that long run. Allow your body to relax. Couple more breaths here. Deep breath in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth to let it go. Awesome work. Next up, we're going to do a runner stretch. So this is where I'm going to use the wall. Again, totally optional. You can do it without it. But I'm going to come up to my wall, place both hands in front of me. One foot is going to stay as the other one drives back behind me. I'm going to keep my back leg nice and straight. And the goal here is to drive the heel towards the floor. Allow that front leg to bend. And I'm kind of pushing against the wall to really try to straighten out that back leg. Drive the heel down as much as possible. And we're going to hold here. We want to make sure our back is nice and flat. So straight spine all the way from the head to the tailbone. Should feel a nice stretch in the calf, into the hamstring. You all know how tight those calves can get. Good. Let the lungs with each breath. And of course, we're going to have to even it out. So take a few more deep breaths before we switch to the other side. Good work. One more cycle of breath here. And as you exhale, go ahead and step it back up to standing. We're going to do the same thing other side. So go ahead and drive that back leg straight behind you. And you're going to straighten it out, drive the heel towards the floor, put some pressure into those hands, allow that front knee to bend. Keep the spine neutral, keep that core engaged. Always have to remind myself. I like to say all of these stretches are active, so we're actively tightening the core, actively driving that heel towards the floor. Good. Couple more deep breaths. Very good. Last breath right here in from the nose. And exhale, go ahead and take it back to that standing position. We're going to slowly bring it down to our mat for the next stretch. So go ahead and find a lying position on your back. And we're going to take it to a lying figure 4. So I'm going to start with my feet flat on the floor, my hands down by my side. Your full spine is on your mat, so make sure you're driving that belly button in to take out any of the arches. And then you're going to cross one leg over the other. So my ankle is just right on top of my knee here. And if this is a deep enough stretch for you, you can just hold here. That's totally fine. Try to drive your knee out as much as you can. So if you want to use that arm to place on your knee and kind of drive it away from you, that'll make this stretch a little bit deeper. So again, you can hold here if this is a deep enough stretch. If you want, you can go ahead and take both arms, thread them through your leg, grab onto the back of your thigh, so your hamstring, and then you can just use the pressure from your hands to pull both legs up. So my leg comes off the ground, and you can hold here. This makes this stretch a lot deeper. So if you're ready for it, you can go ahead and take it here. And you can give me some ankle rolls. Roll out the ankle. This stretch can get very intense, so take some big deep breaths. Close your eyes if you need to. Very good. If you need to reset, you can take that foot back down to the floor, take a few deep breaths, and then get right back in it. A few more seconds here, and then of course we'll switch sides. On that next exhale, go ahead and slowly release, bring that foot back down to your mat. Go ahead and place both feet flat on your floor. We're back to that starting position. We're going to focus on the other leg. So go ahead and take that opposite leg up and over. Cross it, ankle is right on top of that knee. And then again, if you want to keep those feet on the floor, try to add some pressure through that hand, pushing the knee away from you. And if you want to hold here for a few seconds, you can, before intensifying that stretch. Good. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, go ahead and thread the hands through, grab onto that thigh, release the leg off the floor, and pull both legs towards your chest. Roll out the ankle if you want. Good job. It's a great stretch for the hips. Stretch out the lower back. Very good. Take one more deep breath. And as you release, go ahead and bring those feet back down to the floor. We're back to that starting position, feet flat. And I want you to glue those feet together. So walk the feet together, glue the knees together. Remember, full spine is on the back, so I don't want to see any arching. Drive the belly button in, activate the core. Hands down by your, actually, bring your hands out to the side for this next stretch. Nice and slowly, you're gonna tilt both your knees to one side, keeping the feet and the knees together. So we're adding a twist here. I want you to try to keep your shoulders both on your mat. So don't lift up as you twist those knees. Keep the upper body glued to your mat. You should feel a nice release in the back and the spine. We won't be here for very long. Very good. Take a big deep breath in. And as you exhale, bring those knees back to the starting position, and then nice and slowly we'll drop them to the other side. So nice and slowly rotate those knees over. Again, keeping the shoulders on your mat. And you're just taking those knees as far down as you can. You might not be able to take them all the way, that's fine. Just hold where you can. Big, deep belly breaths. I've got one more stretch for you, if you have time to stick around. As you exhale, bring those knees back to that starting position. For our last stretch today, we're actually going to flip over. So nice and slowly, take it to all fours. So your hands and your knees on your mat. And we're going to do a pigeon stretch. So to get into this stretch, what I want you to do is take one leg and bring your ankle towards your knee. Okay, so in the front of your knee, and then place your knee and your foot on your mat. So we're in a cross position here. Now, from this position, my hands are going to stay where they are, and I want you to keep a nice, straight, flat back. As you start to inch that back leg further back behind you, so you're inching it back, trying to straighten it out, and as you do that, you'll start to feel a nice stretch in that front leg and the hip. So the further back you can go, or as far back as you can go in this stretch, you're just holding. So I can almost straighten out my leg completely. Wherever you are, just hold here. So your front leg is at about a 45-degree angle. That's what we want. Again, reminder to keep that core engaged. Help keep that back nice and flat. I love the pigeon stretch. It's one of my favorites. Really stretches that glute, getting the hip into that lower back. See if you can walk that foot a little bit further back as you start to relax those muscles. One more breath here. In through the nose and exhale, take it back to all fours. We're gonna reset and get ready for the other side. So same thing, we're gonna start by bringing our ankle towards our knee, placing the knee on your mat, and then nice and slowly walking that foot back behind you, straightening it out, allowing you to lower towards your mat, keeping the hands where they are. Very good. That front leg is about a 45-degree angle. Holding where you feel that nice stretch. Very good. Keep that core tight. Fill up the diaphragm with each breath. We're almost done with our cool down, and you can get back to your day. When you feel ready, on that next exhale, you can release it. Feel free to take it to a child's pose. Relax onto your mat, sink into your mat for a little bit longer if you have time. But thank you guys so much for joining me and for watching our cool down. So important that after our runs, we get a nice cool down to reset the body, to stretch all of those tight muscles and make sure that we avoid those injuries. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.